I consented to transitioning our relationship into an open one because it was something my girlfriend desired, but this decision ended up causing significant turmoil in her life. My partner, a 24-year-old woman, and I, a 27-year-old man, made the mutual decision to embrace an open relationship after maintaining monogamy for 5 years. Our journey together began in high school, where we first started dating. However, when I left for college, our relationship came to an end. At the time, I believed the breakup was because she might have lost interest in me. It wasn't until years later that she confided in me, explaining that the real reason was her understanding that I needed the freedom to explore and live my life independently. During my college years, her mother adopted a much stricter stance upon discovering that she had a boyfriend and had lost her virginity. This drastic change meant that she was no longer permitted to socialize with friends or go out anywhere. Additionally, because she was financially reliant on her mother, even after enrolling in college, she remained under her mother's stringent control. Meanwhile, I was out dating and attempting to enjoy my college experience, all the while still missing her deeply, as she was confined and restricted by her mother's rules. Eventually, we managed to reconnect and rekindle our romantic relationship. She shared with me numerous accounts of how her mother had treated her, and I reciprocated by recounting my own adventures and experiences from college. In 2016, we took a significant step forward by moving in together, and we've continued to live together ever since. However, over the past year, she began expressing a desire to explore new experiences and relationships. Initially, I felt a tinge of jealousy, but I tried to understand and empathize with her feelings. The first time we contemplated opening our relationship, the individual she showed interest in turned out to be quite unsuitable, leading her to abandon the idea. More recently, within the past few weeks, she developed a friendship with a coworker and expressed interest in experiencing a relationship with him. They've been communicating consistently, though they haven't progressed to a physical relationship yet. Concurrently, I've been active on dating apps, engaging in conversations, and attempting to forge new connections. However, I've come to realize increasingly that my true desire is to spend quality time exclusively with her, rather than pursuing other relationships. It's incredibly painful for me when I'm at work, and our interactions become limited during the weekdays. Then, on weekends when I have time off, she spends time with this new individual. It feels as though I've been sidelined in this entire dynamic, leading to intense feelings of loneliness and isolation. I'm uncertain about how to navigate this situation, and it seems that whenever I attempt to discuss my discomfort with her, she tries to dismiss my concerns and revert our relationship to its previous closed state. She mentioned that she recognizes this persistent desire to explore and that if she doesn't address it now, she fears she'll always be haunted by these feelings. I believe that what I primarily need is someone to confide in and help me process my emotions and understand my feelings better. I have scheduled an appointment with a therapist, which I am confident will provide substantial support in this regard. Update. My girlfriend, a 25-year-old woman, and I, now 27, decided to open our relationship, but this decision has led to a diminishing of the spark that once ignited between us. On July 7, 2022, after 5 years of a committed monogamous relationship, we agreed to open things up because she expressed a desire to gain more sexual experiences. Growing up in an excessively strict household presented initial challenges, particularly because I am inherently monogamous and struggled to find compatible partners, while she seemed to effortlessly secure numerous encounters and dates almost immediately. Things began to improve after I sought therapy, which taught me how to articulate my concerns and emotions in a constructive manner. Our intimate life remained healthy through this period, and communication about my feelings helped us maintain our connection. During this time, I met someone who turned out to be not only a wonderful friend but also an excellent sexual partner. I realized that, unlike my girlfriend, I am not comfortable having intimacy with strangers without forming a meaningful bond. Additionally, I discovered that I lacked the strong desire to seek out numerous sexual experiences, perhaps because I was raised with significantly more personal freedom. However, my girlfriend started to feel jealous of the bond one was developing with this new partner. This jealousy manifested in behaviors that disrupted our relationship, such as incessantly calling me while I was with this individual or making sexual advances just as I was about to leave. These actions began to reveal a troubling pattern in her behavior. Prior to this year, my girlfriend was highly responsible, especially with financial matters. She managed her money well, even during times when our financial situation was tight. She maintained a steady job with regular hours and had enrolled in college the previous fall to pursue upward mobility. But as we moved towards opening our relationship, she began to regress in her behavior. It started with her spending her entire paycheck on tattoos and piercings, which I initially didn't mind because I appreciate self-expression through body art. However, things escalated when she started antagonizing her supervisors, arriving late to work daily, or leaving early without any prior notice. This semester in school, her academic performance began to decline. She gradually stopped attending classes, to the point where she was unaware of important dates like midterms or spring break, and was oblivious to when finals occurred. A month or two after I started spending time with this new partner and getting to know her better, my girlfriend took a 2-month leave of absence from her job. She cited mental health reasons for this decision, but when I suggested she seek therapy, she declined. Instead, she limited her interactions to one consistent guy, spending days at a time with him. This situation might have been a more significant red flag if I hadn't recently started a new job with 12-hour swing shifts. She mentioned that she hates being home alone, and given my demanding work schedule, it made sense that she would seek company while I was away. However, she then began relying heavily on food delivery services. Since she doesn't have a car or a driver's license, it would have been more practical if I hadn't already been purchasing groceries and keeping the house stocked with food. Given that she wasn't earning her own income, she was spending my money, which made it seem as though she had lost all sense of responsibility and maturity. She becomes frustrated whenever I bring up financial matters or the fact that when I'm at work and she's home all day, she doesn't do anything productive besides ordering food and staying in bed. Additionally, she shuts down when I try to have a healthy conversation about my feelings regarding our relationship, insisting that she doesn't notice any changes and suggesting that perhaps I'm imagining things. Eventually, she quit her job without securing another position. All of these developments led me to become increasingly distant from her, both physically and emotionally, as it felt like my needs within the relationship were not being addressed. She quickly noticed that I no longer found her attractive and was upset that I had stopped initiating intimacy. She also felt that the quality of our intimate moments had deteriorated. I attempted to address these issues and explain why I was finding it difficult to desire intimacy with her, but she consistently accused me of viewing her as a problem. Currently, our relationship lacks intimacy and even simple acts of cuddling. We still communicate frequently, but our conversations are predominantly about her sexual partner. I rarely see her now, and when I try to initiate intimacy, she always has an excuse, whether she's tired, on her period, or has some other reason. When she does attempt to initiate sex, it's usually at the most awkward or inconvenient times. Essentially, all forms of intimacy have vanished, and we haven't shared any in nearly 2 months. I want to discuss these issues with her, but her frustration with such conversations has led her to threaten a breakup or claim that she feels I'm never satisfied with her. She repeatedly tells me that I'm the man she wants to marry and that she can't envision being with anyone else, which leaves me feeling confused and conflicted. My current hypothesis is that what I truly need in my life is maturity, and the partner I have discovered embodies exactly that. She is responsible, enjoyable to be around, and values balance and fairness. On the contrary, my girlfriend seems to be seeking mindless fun and constant availability, qualities that her current partner also displays. He lacks personal ambitions, rarely attends his job, and is easily aroused regardless of the situation. Despite these challenges, I do not want to leave my girlfriend. I remember who she was and the person I fell in love with, but I'm uncertain if I still care for who she has become. We've considered the possibility of attending couples therapy once we stabilize our finances, but she doesn't appear genuinely interested in pursuing that option. At this point, I'm feeling uncertain about the best course of action. Update number 1. On the very day I shared this initial account, she received a call from her mother, who had been the primary source of conflict during her childhood. Their relationship had been relatively superficial since she moved out. Her mother explained that her brother was experiencing psychosis due to prolonged self-isolation during his late teens. Additionally, she acknowledged some shortcomings in her parenting style and offered an apology to my girlfriend. This conversation seemed to have a profound impact on her, allowing her to release a lot of pent-up resentment. She declared to her mother that she intends to start therapy because she is becoming more like her mother and doesn't want to inflict the same pain that she endured as a child. I'm uncertain about the sincerity of her commitment to therapy, especially since she was highly emotional during this interaction. While on a break from her new job, which she started the previous week, she has been applying for a second job. She claims that having so much free time this year has been negatively affecting her and that she wants to work in order to gain some emotional and financial independence. This all sounds positive, but many of you in the comments have raised insightful points. I believe this situation ultimately revolves around understanding what I truly want. I don't think jumping from one relationship to another will be beneficial for me or anyone involved in the long term. I recognize that I deserve to have a say in my own life, including setting boundaries and pursuing my desires. However, I also understand that relationships require effort from both parties. I'm planning to do a lot of introspection, and I will update this post if there are any new developments. Final update. As of November 16, 2022, several months have passed since my original post, and I thought it would be helpful to provide an update for those who are still interested in the situation. About a week after the initial post, I realized that things were not improving. After discussing the situation with some friends, it became clear that it was time for a breakup. I understood that the final decision was mine to make. I reviewed all the comments from the original post and concluded that I deserved to determine how I wanted to live my life. Consequently, I ended the relationship and explained to her all the reasons behind my decision. I outlined the things I disliked and what would need to change if there was any possibility of reconciling in the future. She was in tears, and we had to have our final conversation over the phone since she was rarely home when I was available to talk in person. She seemed to comprehend my reasoning and stated that she would work on herself. As our lease was nearing its end, I had already found a new place to live with my roommate. She mistakenly believed that she would be moving in with me. Although I considered allowing her to move in, I ultimately decided it was unwise, especially after she had gone on a tirade about my friends and expressed a desire to harm them upon discovering that they supported my decision to break up with her. Therefore, I informed her that she could not move in with me. She chose to live with the man she had been seeing and maintained contact with him. However, she never made any genuine effort to improve her situation. She frequently updated me on how problematic and toxic the guy was treating her and occasionally offered me advice regarding her situation with him. She quickly realized that his behavior was abusive and unhealthy. I pointed out the similarities between her situation and what we had experienced in our relationship, and she offered a half-hearted apology. I resumed therapy and have been doing well ever since. My financial situation has stabilized more than it has in years, and I have begun dating the girl I had been seeing prior to this relationship. This new relationship has been the most effortless and fulfilling one I've ever had. Our communication styles align closely, and the ways we show affection and care are compatible. It was initially surprising because I had become so accustomed to chaos and abuse, even in past relationships. Dating this girl feels like finally having a partner who is on the same team as me, someone who is dependable and supportive. It took some time to break free from patterns of codependency and to understand that I am entitled to my own space and freedoms within the relationship. I had to rekindle my interest in hobbies and started going back to the gym because I began reflecting on the past 6 years of my life and all that I had endured and sacrificed for my ex. I used to vent my frustrations onto her, but my therapist advised me that it wasn't healthy to express my frustrations in that manner. As a result, I've become much more productive and creative lately.